Well, welcome to part 4 of this Let's Play. A short episode today, I hope. I really want to get done with this this abandoned temple, so I'm hoping to just sort of blitz through it. I came back up to town because I noticed we've got a couple of quests we can pick up here.
How are you?
So let's do that. Actually, quest we can hand in, I think. This guy wants the Spider Queen heart, which we happen to have on us, so we can hand that in. Perfect.
Greetings.
This person has lost her daughter Angela down in the abandoned temple somewhere, so we can go and find her. I think there's one more. Let's see.
Pleased
There.
to meet you.
Yeah, this person will pay us for cobra eggs, which we have several of. So there we go. All right, so I'm gonna just skip right back down into the temple again, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, we're back in the caves underneath the temple. I've got it in high speed. I've noticed there's an arm of this cave that I haven't gone down yet, so I'll go down there.
Hey,
Let's see
you.
what's... Oh. Well, no enemies, but we have Angela Dawson the child. Well, we're looking for Angela Dawson. So that's perfect. Okay, so she's come over here into one of our NPC slots. It's an interesting mechanic. This you can hire a couple of NPCs. Well, sometimes they're sort of required for quests, and sometimes you can just find people in the overworld who will fill a slot in return for some gold or something, or a cut of treasure. They will buff a certain skill or give you more XP, things like that. Interesting. We have found a little crypt here with interesting hanging things. Okay. Well, let's see. Can we loot these? Seems we can. Okay, so we've got a ring. Nothing there. Oh, we got some sort of a thing there. Oops. Did I just pick that up?
Aha.
Well, I don't see it anywhere. Let's try these cages over here as well. The ring. I'm tying my fingers in knots with the controls here. Because this patch adds mouse look, it kind of does weird things with the cursor. In that, normally where it wouldn't be fixed, it is. What do we have there? Okay, well I think we got everything there, didn't we? Right, so this is so this NPC who's accompanying us will I mean, essentially it's an escort quest, but it doesn't have the drawbacks of implementation of most escort quests. I think it's quite nice in this way because you're never they never get stuck on scenery as they try and follow you. They never get hit or attacked. They can't really. They're just in your party, but not in your party in a way that it ever gets annoying. I think it's quite nicely done. Game system, the way that this does it. What we probably should do when we get back into town is see if there's anyone we can recruit who's going to do a nice job for us in terms of buffing skills that we are weak in or anything like that. Okay, here we go.
Got that one.
I don't know how big the rest of this dungeon is going to be, but I really hope that this episode... we may need to put a bit of distance between us and them. I really hope that this is going to be the last episode that we... the third and last that we are negotiating at. Because it really is getting quite tiresome. This is the first dungeon in the game. Just, they do not ease you into it. I try to think how big the biggest dungeon in the game might be. I'll say a few words about the 3D engine, maybe. as you can see, it's sort of a hybrid of 3D geometry for the levels and two-dimensional sprites. Oop, back up a little. And two-dimensional sprites for enemies and characters. And that was something that was quite dated, a little bit dated, I suppose, in 1998, where this came out, because that was the same year that Thief came out. It was the same year that Half-Life came out. I think Ocarina of Time, Grim Fandango, all these things have in common is they had 3D actual characters rather than this 2D 3D approach. This is more like the Ultimate Underworld games did a few years before. So it was a few years behind the curve at this point. Massively ahead of Might and Magic 5 that had come out a few years earlier. That was a very different game. I'll drop in a screenshot here so you can see what I mean. So it was a technical advance from that, but we had reached the point, and I think they call this the end of the golden age of RPGs. We had reached the point where the technology of these elaborate role-playing games could not keep up with the technology of simpler games like first-person shooters. When a game needed to be we've got a lot of stuff here. Wow. When a game needed to be open world and have all the complexities of a role-playing game, as opposed to a fairly linear, straightforward experience of an action game. Obviously, it took a lot of... we have a teleporter here. It took a lot of time for...
I don't know.
Right, I'm going to try and I'll try and multitask a bit better. It took a lot of time for the 3D in games like that to catch up. Really, Bethesda were the first people to nail it, I would say. And that was some years later. So, PC gaming really experienced a surge in popularity as 3D came in, and graphics started to get impressive. And that never really happened to RPGs. That never really... it still had its core following, but it never really broadened its audience. I'm going to just drop in this teleporter. Let's see where it takes us. Oh, okay, right. That's actually quite convenient. It's taking us back there. Well, then we just need to go around here, and then there's another branch that we still need to explore off to the left here somewhere. Let's hope for a fairly straightforward experience here that with just some easy killing to be done. Yeah, where was I? So because role-playing games and their relative complexity were slow to bring in the technological development of 3D. They never budgets increased at a rate faster than sales, and we need to cast another wizard eye. So a lot of the companies that were making RPGs in the golden age through the 80s and early 90s just went bust. They disappeared. Companies like Origin, like SSI, just ended up sort of getting acquired and then really sort of retired. Although there were, of course, many good RPGs after that, all the Black Isle and BioWare stuff, the Elder Scrolls games, there were never as many companies, as many games or as many companies making those games. After the mid-1990s, when a lot of the companies, a lot of the ecosystem collapsed. which is really sad, but many of those games are classics today. They were really coming out at the rate of like 1 or 2 a month. It was an impressive... If you go back and look at an old issue of a magazine that had good CRPG coverage, you'll see the rate of these games that were coming out. And many of them may have been mediocre, but in terms of sheer volume, rather than the, you know, maybe 2 or 3 games a year that we get now, you were talking like at least 10 games a year. It's easy to forget how rich and how well catered for the market was back at that time. Many of those games are on GOG and still fairly easily playable today. And many of them are rightly considered classics, although they do have their issues. So we're at the dead end here. We've got another teleporter. Where is this going to take us? Okay, so we're back into this chamber. So it looks like... Oh no, there was a place to drop down that we haven't come round to. So just round here, I think there's just one more place to look. Just round here in this chamber, there is a... Here we've got a walkway and a drop down on each side. And I don't think anything has taken us into that. Oh, maybe we did. Perhaps we did. I'm just going to save and see if I can drop down there safely. Yeah, actually, yeah, we did come under here. My mistake. So if we go in here, teleport up, wrong way, this way, we can head out, and we have now cleared this abandoned temple, finally. We can put an end to this. We have the little girl to return to her mother, and that will be the end of it. We can go elsewhere and do something a little more interesting. I'm very glad that that's no longer something I need to play through. So that's one dungeon. That took us, what, 1.5 hours? Okay, so back to here. I hope that rescuing this little girl is going to do some good for our reputation, which is still quite bad. There we go. Well, let's see. No, we're still 194 bad. All that good that we have done has not even slightly offset. Well, or maybe only marginally offset the bad that we did inadvertently for the temple. Okay, our levels are all green numbers. I think that means we can level up at the trainer. So let's do that. Let's make that the last action in this chapter. Can we wait until 6 AM?
How about some training?
Yeah, so we're training them all up to level 6. Excellent. And I'm gonna just park here. I'll go and do shop stuff, but I'll do that offline. So, thanks very much for watching this short episode. Next time we'll probably go into Goblin Watch, which is this castle up on the hill there. I think that's going to be our next area of exploration. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next time.